This is an update on plans to build a proper road to the impoverished village of Na Lin in northern Laos. Previous short video clips on YouTube have detailed the plight of the villagers when the annual wet season all but cuts them off from the outside world for months at a time by turning the track in and out of the village into a shocking quagmire. So we want to build them a proper road that gives them a decent access to the outside world. We've raised almost $20,000 as part of the Road to Na Lin project so far, and 2012 has seen a few good developments that could help move the fund further forward at quite a pace. In July, we were linked to 3 concerts in Melbourne, Brisbane and Sydney, showcasing Bob Dylan's 50 years as an entertainer. And although they weren't put on especially for us and didn't directly produce any big boost to the fund, they did shake the tree quite a bit in a publicity sense, producing several major donors who may not have known about the project otherwise. More significant, however, was a meeting at the Australian Embassy in Vientiane with the Ambassador Linda Wertheisong and manager of the Australian aid agency AusAid in Laos, Monet Sisavat, and they both encouraged us to apply for one of the Embassy's direct aid program grants, which could provide a substantial boost in funding for the road. Also in Vientiane, we met with 2 executives of the local engineering company, Lao Consulting Group, Senior National Roads Engineer Santi Sukasit, and James Grindy, with whom we'd been corresponding about surveying the road to Na Lin. But it was Santi Suk who would make the next move possible. 2 days later, he met with the village headman of Na Lin, as well as the leaders of 2 adjoining minority villages. This was at Mung Nan, the district centre for Na Lin, and a score of other small villages. We also changed there from a minibus to the only form of transport that can negotiate the track to Na Lin, a tuk-tuk. But before leaving Mung Nan, we had to meet up with the district director of the Department of Public Works and Transportation, Vijit Visaipon, our first contact with officialdom. It was politic and polite for us to meet him, but we also needed his blessing for Santi Suk to make a GPS-based assessment of the track. The headman for Na Lin village, Kam Sing, stressed how desperately they needed the road. Then Santi Suk talked about the technical and engineering aspects of the road, its width, the drainage, surfacing and access for materials and equipment. Lai Siu, the headman of a minority group of Hmong people living some 3.5 kilometres beyond Na Lin, came to ask that the road be extended to reach their village. Jing Hom, head of a minority village of Kambu people, closer to Na Lin, but on the same track, also supported the request. Our young friend Chanti was translator for all this.
They asked the Chinese about the road, what kind of road that we are going to do.
We have been raising money in Australia, trying to raise more. And we hope that we can put that money towards the sort of road that Santi Suk can advise. He asked this? He asked what we want to get. We want nothing but to see a smile on the face. With a humorous and friendly ending to the meeting, Director Visaipon gave his and his department's approval for Santi Suk to carry out his preliminary GPS-based assessment. We thanked him, said our goodbyes, and took to the road, heading for the start of our own road, still some 15 kilometres away, and trying to keep ahead of the approaching rain. We weren't caught in the rain, although other showers had preceded us. Nevertheless, where the road from Mung Nan meets the track leading to Na Lin, Santisuk began taking his measurements. He also checked out various options and alternatives with the village leaders and Chanti, and then took photos and made notes until we reached the village of Na Lin. That evening, almost half the village turned up to share a meal and to hear what Santisuk had to say about the assessment process he was carrying out, and the full survey which was due to get underway a few weeks later. They also questioned him about various aspects of building the road. In the morning, we set off by tok-tok again, at least for a short while. But soon we were off again, heading for the Hmong settlement 3.5 kilometres on, followed by villagers on foot as we passed through the Camus village just a kilometre out of Na Lin. Crossing a small stream, and with Santisuk taking pictures and notes again, we came within minutes to Pujong, the Hmong village. It's incredibly poor, much more so than even Na Lin and the Camus village. Absolutely no facilities, no running water, no sewerage, no proper electricity, medical or educational facilities, and in the midst of a sea of mud, conditions under which nobody should have to live. The existing track extends a few hundred metres further beyond the main village, which Santisuk walked with his GPS instrument, while we followed by tok-tok, returning eventually to the headman's house at Pujong village. Inside the earthen-floored and thatch-roofed hut, the villagers provided us with a lunch of wild mushrooms and tree moss, as well as an opportunity for Santisuk to talk about what sort of road might be possible for them when we raise sufficient funds for the project to go ahead. Later, back in Vientiane, and using the topographical data from the dozens of GPS reference points he took on the track, Santisuk's assessment dealt with the road in two separate sections: our original road to Na Lin, in red as Section 1, and the extension to the Camus and Hmong villages in yellow as Section 2. In relation to Mung Nan district centre, Na Lin and the other two villages are on a branch track some 15 kilometres further north. The Na Lin road, of course, is important, but the extension to the two extra villages is doubly so if we're to win approval for our direct aid application to the Australian Embassy, which favours aid to minority groups. However, it will understandably push up the overall cost of the project. So, while we estimated the original road to Na Lin would cost around $60,000, the assessment put it at just over $100,000. For the second section, the extension to the two minority villages, it came in at a bit more than $140,000. But tackling it in two parts like this gives us a chance to get that stage 1 built without a great deal more funding than we'd originally anticipated. And having a completed road for stage 1 will provide a much greater incentive to potential donors to contribute to building stage 2, to link the two minority villages to the new road.
In addition, we're hoping that a visit to Na Lin and the other two villages in early November by 12 members of the Broadbeach Rotary Club based in southern Queensland will help to make for a broader base of interest in the plight of the people of Na Lin and their neighbours.
You can help too by donating to the Road to Na Lin Fund via the website, theroadtonalin.com, or directly to the fund's bank account.